Hey folks, what is an HVAC technician's starting salary? That's what we're going to talk about here on Fox Family Heating, Air, and Solar today. If this is your first time watching, please click subscribe down below and click that little bell right next to it. You'll be notified of all of our upcoming videos. First thing you need to know about the trades is if you have a great personality, you look sharp, you're clean cut, you come to work on time, you have dependable transportation to and from work, you're not drinking alcohol on the job, you're not smoking weed on the job, probably are going to do a pretty good job in this field. It's a job that you're going to be fit doing because you're going to be doing a lot of carrying, lifting, squatting, climbing, and crawling. So that will definitely keep you in shape throughout your career. It's also a job that is never the same day by day, and that's what I really seem to like about it the most. Is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has said that the HVAC industry is actually going to increase 15% by the year 2026. At the same time, there's a major shortage of blue-collar workers ready to fill those positions. Why is that? Is it because since day one our parents have been telling us that if we want to get a job or have a good career, we're going to have to go to college and get a degree? I think that might be it, actually. Since my childhood in the 80s, I've definitely seen an increase in white-collar jobs. And those jobs most likely need a degree to get those positions. I get it. However, I think the baby boomer generation and Generation X has been making the push for that kind of thinking in their children. A mindset that almost has completely forgotten that we still need to flush toilets, turn on the heater, maybe fix our appliances, or run pipes for a sprinkler system. All of those are jobs that don't require a college degree. Not only does it not require a college degree, but you won't have crazy tuition to pay off either when you do finally get a job. Skilled trades are acquired. They're handed down from generation to generation. In my opinion, HVAC techs learn the best with on-the-job training. Nothing substitutes learning out in the field. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind about HVAC technicians is that there's so many jobs available out there. But warehouses need workers to deliver that equipment to the workers out in the field. They also need people working at the front desk to get them supplies and parts and equipment when they come back to try to make repairs on equipment. And those guys at the desk really know their equipment because they see so much and they see so many parts for their particular brand. It's pretty amazing how knowledgeable those guys are. You name an HVAC brand and there's probably a warehouse around your area that carries not only that equipment but the parts for it as well. And if you're going to go work in a warehouse like that, one of the distribution warehouses, you're probably going to start off around $10, $15 an hour, I would suppose. I have never had a job in that field, but I can't imagine you're going to be making more than the technicians out in the field. In California, we have HVAC technicians who act as a third-party verification. So anytime we do an installation, we have to comply with Title 24. So there's a third party that comes out and does all the verification for our installs. They verify not only that the system has enough return air, but the refrigeration system is properly charged and that there is less than 15% leakage in the duct system. So these guys, they make good money. They're out in the field. They make kind of like a base pay, and then they also make like a certain amount, a chunk of money per job that they do. Now, the Title 24 HERS raters in my area, they drive a lot. I mean, I listen to these guys. They're driving Northern California down to Central California. It's really crazy. I feel bad for them. They drive a lot. They have long days in the busy season and pretty short days in the slow season because their jobs are based around, inspecting current installations. So if the business is slow, then probably their business is slow too. Another HVAC job is in home performance. Here, technicians deal with the home and try to get their existing homes to perform better for the customers who live there by sealing up their gaps and penetrations that might be in the attic and stuff like that through the floor or the attic. Basically trying to seal that up so that the house is tighter, so that they can run smaller systems in the house, so that there's less waste and energy and et cetera, et cetera. But these technicians are, kind of salesy. They go out there and they try to sell a concept. A lot of it has to do with like fenestration or windows, sealing up houses, ductwork, insulation, things that are basically going to seal up that house, tighten it up, But yeah, good industry to get into, good part of the industry to get into. It just wasn't my bag of tea. So I've already told you guys this, but when I first started out in the industry, I was a bartender who had been working for 15 years, serving drinks, and I got to about the age of 35 before I decided to make a career change. But I was making pretty good money right about then. I was making right around $75,000 a year just bartending 4 days a week. But for me, it was time to move up to a real job. You know, you can only hang out in certain jobs for so long. Bartending for sure is a crazy atmosphere. You have to be on it every single night and be on your best game. And by the time I was 35, I was just kind of over it. So I really didn't care what I stooped down to. I was ready to reinvent myself and come back up into the game. Because I was a mechanic in the Air Force, I already knew that I had an inclination for the mechanical field. So when I heard that this big company in town had a job opening, I jumped on it. So I found a job here in town with one of the big companies. And the great thing about working for the big companies is that we had steady work. Every day I was installing equipment every single day. It was grueling, but I learned so much very fast by constantly installing new equipment every single day. So we were working really hard, but we weren't at home sitting on our butts either. In 2010, my first year of HVAC, they offered me a job, and I accepted it for $10 an hour. But I knew if I did do that, if I showed them my work ethic, if I showed them who I am, that I knew that I would move up in the ranks pretty fast. And that is the way it is in the HVAC field. So I got my EPA certificate, my 410 certificate from this company, and that company gave me a $2 raise. So after 1 month, I was already up to $12 an hour. A couple months later, after showing them my hard work ethic and them noticing things about me, they gave me another $2 a raise. So now I'm up to $14 an hour after probably about 3 months of work. So that was nice. And to do that, I mean, I was, not only showing up to work on time, but I was getting my jobs done quick. I wasn't just hanging around, powwow, shooting the shit with guys. I'm focused when I get on my work. I get there, I'm kind of nerdy, I do my thing, I want to get it done very quickly, and I want to move on. That's me. And that is how you will move ahead in this field. I was working in the install department. I was at $16 an hour after about 9 or 10 months. So you can see how quickly we moved up. But in my head, naturally, I started thinking that I wanted to move over into the service side. Well, my install manager wasn't having that. Instead, she offered me a position as a lead installer. So I would be running my own jobs. I was the foreman on my own jobs. And basically, I was responsible for every job that we were doing now. So I basically just did that for another year. So now I'm making $18 an hour after just 1 year of showing them what I can do. I eventually worked up to $20 an hour as a lead installer, and I think I might have gotten up to 21 before I finally said, I want to go to service. So after 2 years of installing, I wanted to go to service. And just a little tidbit about that, I had been asking my install manager for 6 months to get me a job over in service, and she would never let me do it. She just kept saying, yeah, if a spot opens up, I'll definitely get you over there. I'll let you know. And finally, I went over to the service department manager and asked her. I didn't really know her very well, but I didn't know her at all. So it takes a little courage to step up and ask. But I went over to her and I said, hey, are there any positions available in the service side? I've been interested for the last several months, and my manager keeps telling me that if a spot opens up, that she will get me in. Is there any spots open, or are there any spots open? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. I got a spot open for you. I'll get the transfer paperwork over to her and we'll get you over here as soon as possible. So I mentioned that just for a little bit of experience, because I had to drag that on for 6 months and it really stunk. When I did get moved over to the service side, I was at $21 an hour. I had to take a pay cut of $7 and go all the way back to $14 an hour. So I had to do that because I didn't have any service experience. I had to once again prove myself, start myself at the bottom, work my way up. I eventually did get back up to after about 3 years in service, so 2 years in install, 3 years in service, I was finally back up to about $20 an hour. But After that, I just decided to go on my own because it's great to work for big companies because of the business, but this particular company had a pay ceiling of $25 an hour. So I knew that no matter how long I stayed here, there was only so much I was going to be able to do as far as compensation. So I pretty much started looking at other options, which became me starting my own business. But take my technicians for example. They make $20 to $27 an hour. But they have opportunities to make extra money throughout the day selling like add-ons that might help a system last longer or be safer for their families. They also sell complete systems when they're out in the field. If a system is sold by one of those techs, they get 6% of the sale. And our techs love that big payday when it hits. And now with us installing solar, our sales tickets are getting much bigger, and that 6% equals a lot more money. We currently have a technician who's getting ready to propose a $78,000 solar job that has over 30 kW worth of solar panels. That's like 61 panels on there. But could you imagine the commission off of that job when you get it? It's like over $4,600. And so that's just my story. So many technicians before and after me will have so different stories of how they got into the HVAC field. Some people will have fathers who lured them into the field to carry on the family business. Some people like me were just looking to reinvent themselves and start all over and found HVAC as the savior. And their salaries were probably a little bit higher, honestly, guys, because me starting off at $10 an hour, I was asking some of the other guys that I worked with, how much did those guys start you off at? $10 an hour. So they all worked themselves up towards around the $20 range. But once again, they knew that there was like a ceiling there at 25 that they had to kind of get out of there. I know technicians who started out working for the state at $18 an hour. But for the most part, HVAC apprentices start off around the $15, $16 an hour mark. On a national scale, the highest salaries for seasoned HVAC technicians out there in the field are the District of Columbia at $32 an hour. Alaska, Hawaii, Illinois, and Connecticut are right at the $30 an hour mark. The state with the highest number of openings for HVAC technicians and installers are Florida, California, Texas, New York, and Arizona. If you are coming into this field green, you may need to start at the bottom and work your way up. This is the best way to do it anyways, because then you learn how that company wants to do it. That company gets to teach you their way, and you're not bringing in some bad habits from another company. Once again, it's called the trades, and it's a learning process. And guys, I wanted to throw this out there too. I've never been on the union side, so I don't really know much about it. So I don't like talking about stuff that I don't really know anything about. Union guys starting out with a lot more money. In fact, one of the first instances where I thought, man, I'm going to move. I'm going to get out of this job and go find somebody who will pay me the right amount of money was when I went to a customer's house of mine, fixed their AC, and they told me about their union job. And he was telling me about it and how he was making like $30, $40 an hour and then their time and a half and all that stuff. But he said the only real drawback from that was the union dues, the large amount of union dues and stuff like that they have to pay for. But he said he is rolling and has been rolling, since he started working for the union. So I don't know much about the union. That's why I don't talk about it. This is non-union stuff that we're talking about. So if you do want to find out about union and how much those guys pay, just check it out. Just say starting salary for union HVAC, and you'll be able to find the answer right there. Well, good luck, guys, and stay with your dreams. I told you guys about the lack of techs in the field and the lack of blue-collar workers out there in the field because I want you to be armed when you go and negotiate your pay. You guys are worth the money. We work hard out there. We sweat. We get dirt all up in ourselves, and it is crazy the amount of work we're doing for, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18. Really, it is what it is, and it's what you're happy working for is ultimately what it is. HVAC is a great career. It's something that cannot be outsourced, and that feels good knowing that my job is secure. We're always going to need heating and air conditioning. I mean, there are always people out there who will work for less, but it's a rarity to find somebody who wants to work as hard as an HVAC technician. If you are new to this channel, please click subscribe down below and just click that little bell right next to it and you'll be notified of all of our upcoming videos. Check us out on Facebook at Fox Family Heating, Air Conditioning, and Solar. And if you would, just share this video with one aspiring HVAC technician who might need to know how much they're going to make out in the field. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next video. You're watching Fox Family Heating and Air Conditioning. Don't forget to subscribe. And check out more of our videos by clicking on the right side of the screen.